person that joined the Discord from Twitch.
Nice. Oh, it's 8 o'clock, baby. Time to start the show. Here we go. All right, what's going on, everybody? This is CaseStudyQB, and we are the political junkies. And if you could watch this from now until the end, you're a political junkie too. I know Chris is going to be there. I know Neat is going to be there. So much love to our regular people. But let me go around the horn and say what's up to my peoples. Carlito, we got Gabe, we got Izzy, we got Bendone, we got John. Carlito, what's going on, my man?
What's good? Listen, my dedication to the progressive cause, to the junkies,
we appreciate
is unmatched by anybody.
We appreciate it.
Hawks are playing right now, but I'm here with y'all.
Yeah, see, Neat and Chris, he's doing it for y'all. He want to be with y'all people, with the audience. Gabe, how you doing, my man?
So he doesn't have the game up anywhere?
Nope, I sure don't.
Gabe, why are you with your girlfriend in the background? What's going on?
Hey, if you guys are thinking about coming to the Discord, don't come. Not let you in. Don't do it.
What's going on?
That's it. No, we just seen we seen our Madam Vice President imploring the immigrants to not make the arduous trek, because of course it's their choice that they want to make that trek to try to come here and seek asylum. And what's worse is we saw several political commentators say that what she's saying is actually legally incorrect, because she's telling them don't come here, but they are following the legal route, which is to come here and apply for asylum when you arrive at the border. So not only is it just inhumane what she's saying, she's actually legally wrong. So it's a bad combination.
No,
and
the part that she's legally wrong is saying that we're going to turn you back, that we're going to turn you away. That's the part she's legally wrong about.
Correct. And I think she's just gearing up for a 2024 loss is what we're seeing. So she's laying the groundwork.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that. But let's keep it moving. Izzy, how you doing, my buddy?
Doing all right, doing all my studying. I feel like I'm back in college again, doing all my studying for this mayoral race and all the other positions I gotta, catch up on. But yeah, I just, this ranked choice voting is, it's a whole new thing. It's very interesting, a little complicated, but definitely well worth it. So
just send a message to the Justice Democrat, ask them who you should vote for.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I have been getting calls and text messages though from our revolution and from some Bernie supporters, like, here's who Bernie supports.
Okay, interesting.
So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. And shout out to Holly also in the chat, who's also in New York, and she already voted, so did a ranked choice. So Bendone, how you doing, my man?
I'm here, ready to go.
Ready to go. John, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Here, Gabe, didn't your girl in the background study law? How come she doesn't know simple things?
Yeah, she is. I was very shocked that a person who was such a progressive champion for the working class and for drug rights during her time as a district attorney, that she could shock us like this. So I was caught with my pants down. I did not expect that.
All right, we're going to talk about no cancel zone is coming up. How do progressive prepare for Biden/Harris in 2024? And that's where we're going to talk about Harris. I think she's a mess. Anyway, let's talk about it then. What's the right age to teach children about the horrors of slavery? That's a question that we're going to discuss. How low will you go? This is something I didn't even talk to the guys about ahead of time. I wanted to surprise them on this, all right? So we talked about, last week, we talked about billionaires shouldn't exist. But then I was thinking this week, like, okay, so what's everybody's limit? So we might really have to pull out the no cancel card. We might have to pull out. Oh, I thought I turned it off. We called it.
We gotta count how many times we get the intro.
Yo, I turned it off. I swear. You know what?
Usually happens with Carlito talking, but today he was like, there's your answer. The computer told you.
But
just cancel yourself.
The question is, we're gonna test our limits of progressivism to see who's each person, how much should somebody make in a year, right? We're going to discuss
be called
that.
a Republican again.
And then for next week, this is what we're going to talk about. Should progressive play identity politics when picking a candidate to run? So I'm just going to throw a little bit more context because we're not going to talk about it this week unless we have time. But I think we have so much stuff this week that is not going to come up. But like Shahid Buttar, right? Why is it? I turned it off. I swear I turned it off and it keeps coming back.
He's just trying to keep Carlito from his game. He's trying to delay.
But
I know, right? I ain't going on overtime, man.
He's gonna be like, "Yo, I'm out, guys." But
I'll
so,
say, yeah, just what? I'll pull it up.
An example of that is Shahid Buttar, right? He's thinking about running for a third time against Nancy Pelosi.
No.
And like at this point,
calzone for him.
Pelosi is not running, right? She's gonna put her daughter in, right?
not that I know of. Are you serious or are you joking?
I think I read somewhere that she was thinking about like not like retiring or something and then like making her daughter or something like that.
But you know what? Her daughter is way more progressive than she is, so that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I would be.
Well, Nancy
Nancy
Pelosi was progressive at one point, right? So,
That's true too.
Unless Nancy is playing 4D chess and she's planting the seeds way in advance to make you think her daughter is progressive,
exactly.
so that you have no problem when she gets in, and then when she gets in,
that would be interesting. But
I don't want no oligarchies, man.
Yeah. But we'll talk about it. Definitely, we'll talk about it later next week about that particularly. So let's go on to the memes of the week. Let me see if I can bring this up. This is something that came up. My man John, I think you sent this out. Corporations look on how every day they have the American flag, and then on June. You want to talk about this, John, real quick, since you're the one that brought this up?
Oh no, I just saw that on Twitter. It's just like they all, all of a sudden they all saw like LGBT Q, so like rights and stuff. You know how it is, like, but they never really the 11th other month they really don't really care or really do any policies to really like have what they need to.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of websites, they turn their logo into the rainbow flag, pandering. And then I wanted to show this real quick. So this says, no climate, no deal. This is showing senators who are making it clear that they will not support an infrastructure package that does not include bold climate action. Do you believe them? Is there anybody here that actually believes? Look at Carlito. Yeah, exactly. I don't believe him. All right,
but you gotta at least give him credit. How many times have we? Go ahead, Gabe. Go ahead.
Hold on. No, I was just testing something. I got a meme of the week after you guys finish this one.
Okay.
You gotta... My high tech streaming.
You like a picture of Screech on your phone? That's your background?
Yeah,
that does look like Screech from Saved by the Bell. But go ahead, Carlito. You gonna say something, or somebody's gonna say something?
I was gonna say real quick that we always talk on this show about how even if you're not gonna vote the way you say you're gonna vote, at least put it out there. At least make them think that you're going to. At least so. This is already, I would say, good enough. So, this is something that we never see Democrats doing, which is have a backbone. So, give them credit at least for that, going that far. We'll see whether or not they take it the whole way. Yeah,
we shall see. We shall see. But I know AOC had an interview and she said they're just saying like, we'll see what happens or it's very unlikely. But I wish they were more definitive. Like, Joe Manchin is definitely saying, nope, I'm not voting against the filibuster. Like, he's making it definite. He was a little iffy at first. He said, I'll reform the filibuster. And then that turned into not getting rid of the filibuster.
I know sometimes we come at AOC, but she's going in hard at him. Yeah. She's definitely not holding back and calling Democrats on money in politics and the Kush brother and stuff like that. So
yeah, I actually did. I clipped something that if we have time, I could show it. But yeah, you're correct in that. All right, let me show this last meme, and this one is old. I saw somebody else already responded. Another person did a video on this. It says, "Say it loud, say it clear. Everyone is welcome here," and this is from January 29, 2017, and then here in 2021, she's saying, "Don't come." What you guys think? Don't come.
I don't think she's ever said a genuine word in her life. I think she's a classic politician that just says whatever is going to be popular or what she thinks is going to be popular. And I think it shows in her results of when she was running for president. She was going to be like 4th or 5th in her own state. And she had to drop out even before the first primaries because she had an embarrassing showing after she was essentially anointed. So I don't trust her. I don't think she's the best candidate for 2024, and I don't even got a better one. That's the how sad I am.
She's gonna say whatever, right? Because she saw like she was for Medicare for all, and then she completely changed it. So she's gonna say whatever she thinks people want to hear, and then the minute the money start flowing in, and we knew this, like we knew like Wall Street loves her.
Yeah.
That was their candidate from day one. I mean, I think we talked about it in a lot of chats, and even when we were trying to predict what the ticket was going to look like, we knew that she was going to be the VP because Wall Street loves her, so they're going to pick her, and that's who they're going to run. And then we're going to we say it every single show. They're going to go, this is the election of your lifetime, and we cannot allow another Trump in. And then they're going to do all these things, and they're going to blame Latinos for not voting for her, and they're going to find an excuse for why they took another L.
Holly Horn with the fire, Kamala top tier, Harris. For those who remember that, she after one of the debates, she said, I am a top tier candidate, and that's why they're coming for me.
Yeah, so let's go into it. The first, no cow zone. So Carlito, we're going to hold off on the rundown for real quick because we're already discussing it. How do progressives prepare for Biden/Harris in 2024? And that's, so Biden might actually run again in 2024, but let's say he does not, and it's Harris. That's why I put Biden/Harris. What's up, John?
I don't think he's gonna make it to the first turn. So I don't even know why he's talking about 2024.
Yeah, I know, but we'll see what happens. But I think there's a lot of fodder out there for to go against Biden, and for progressives to have a good case to bring to the American people against Biden. Because one of the biggest things about Biden was the fact that he is a centrist, middle of the road. He can work with both sides. That's how he was campaigning. And he's supposed to be able to work with Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema and all those moderates on his, and this is his agenda. And as of right now, he's failing. So if 2024 comes around and he doesn't do anything else that's significant, that could be a very good convincing, what you guys think for the primary?
All right. So first of all, to have a primary will be even miraculous. Like, yeah, we could kind of have one, but all the debates, they're run by the presidential commissions and stuff like that. The party's going to do what they're going to do. So I think the only way to really even force them to acknowledge that somebody's running against them is to do what nobody did in New York, and it's coalesce around a candidate early so they could have a lot of hype behind them, a lot of support. And by early, I mean like 2 years before. So, we got to have somebody that we think could win and then push them or her, throughout enough that there's a lot of support that they have to acknowledge them and debate them and all that stuff. So, not do like, because they could do like Pelosi, just don't debate anybody and just have the election.
That's not happening. Yeah. That's not happening in a presidential.
They're going to do whatever they want.
They could have it presidential. Well,
you got to get somebody credible against them, though. You got to be somebody credible. Listen,
I got an idea.
Go ahead.
You go in 2022, call me crazy. You go in and you put in the ticket of Jesse Ventura and Nina Turner outside of Democratic ticket, and then you just go and run on that, and that's how you prepare. Because it's somebody that you could get both, and I think it will have a lot of hype behind it, and it could potentially make them rethink if they put Harris and Biden there.
So you say it as an independent, not even to run
as an Democratic. I think that ticket, for me, I think that ticket could make some noise.
I think it would be interesting.
Enough noise to win.
I think at that point you split it. You can, because remember, I think I think Case, you post I think was a tweet or a video or something like that. I forgot what it was. Of this guy, a senator or congressman. He was saying that he was talking to Republicans to talk about what was it like? They were all for everything progressive, but they just didn't like AOC or something, just because what they listened to Fox News, right?
Okay.
And it goes back to identity politics, right? We know that this country is not going to elect, like we can't put Nina Turner as the head, right? Because we know this country is not going to do it. They're just going to find every excuse. We as unfortunate it is, they're not just going to vote. So you put someone that could do things, that could talk to both sides, and get to those votes, and someone that could also bring the progressive votes in. And I think it could make enough noise to win.
Yeah, that could maybe make enough noise if you say that's going to be my ticket once I get elected as a Democratic nominee to run in the primary. But in a presidential, that's an automatic win for Republicans. Because as soon as you see a black woman, no Republicans want to vote for. No Republicans want to vote for them, even if they kind of centrist or they want to for outsider. You know, they're going to see a black woman and be like, "It's a wrap. We're just going to coalesce about whatever piece of crap Republican we got."
But according to everything we read, right, the left, the progressive, Bernie had what, 30%, right? 30% of the vote.
Yeah. Gabe, thanks for the super chat.
That's John, from last week. That's the money I owed from when I said I was matching.
Yeah, much love, much love. So John, that would be interesting. I don't think Nina is gonna not join the independent because she had the opportunity to do that for the Green Party and she didn't do it. But so I'm curious, who can run in the Democratic primary against Biden? You guys have any interesting suggestions? Like, we can see how much traction Nina Turner gets.
Interesting.
Say that again, Carlito.
Jesse Ventura sounds interesting.
Oh, to run, but he will never run in the Democratic primary.
He would never run. He would run as an independent.
Yeah, well,
he only run as independent.
If he runs independent, then he's not going to win, and the Democrats are going to win.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for Suwama Sawant, the socialist from Seattle, to run in the Democratic primary. I would love that, but I know she will never do that because she's against the Democratic Party. So let me bring up another case against Biden. He has all the opportunities to do executive orders. He can create great big FDR-like changes that he wants to do, but he hasn't done it yet. With, like, for example, he could forgive student loan debt up to $50,000 if he wanted to do that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what you guys think about that case, that argument?
Didn't a parliamentarian probably say, "No, you can't do it"?
Now, that has to do with actually passing legislation. That doesn't have to do with the executive's orders. But okay. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Let me do a quick trivia real quick while we're here. And then we're going to go to Carlito's rundown after this trivia. Let me know what you guys think.
We don't do anything quick. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know, right? Which statement is true? Bill Maher mocks moderate Democrat Joe Manchin as the most powerful Republican in the Senate? Or did he say Bill Maher praises moderate Democrat Joe Manchin as the most powerful Democrat in the Senate? Which one did he say?
You know what? I'll go with mock.
The first one.
So John says mock. Carlito says mock. Biden says, but no, Biden. I didn't even show Bendone's face when I said that.
Oh, I didn't read the second part. He mocks him as the most powerful Republican.
Yeah.
I think that could be that one. Dang,
yeah. Okay. I was just curious if I could throw you guys off because let me show the answer. Because he has been saying some crazy stuff, but he was on the right side on this. Okay, we're going to go to Carlito's rapid fire. Oh no, not rapid. Carlito's rundown.
All right. Let's start it off. Number one, what is the 1836 Project, Texas to Promote Patriotic Education by Khalida Rahman at Newsweek? So as a response to the 1619 Project, which was a award-winning, meticulously researched, historically accurate telling of the centrality of slavery in American history since the African slaves were first brought in 1619 until now, Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed a law establishing the 1846 Project to promote patriotic education and ensure future generations understand Texas values. Well, in 1936 was the year that Texas broke away from Mexico to keep slavery. And as part of the project, there's going to be an 1836 award to recognize students' knowledge of Texas history. Now, the creator of the 1619 Project, Nicole Hannah-Jones, replied with this nugget of Texas history on Twitter that I'm sure all students will be required to learn in Texas. And she wrote, Article 8, Section 1 of the 1845 Texas Constitution, the legislature shall have no power to pass laws for the emancipation of slaves without the consent of their owners, nor without paying their owners. So do you think this tidbit of information will be in the 1836 pamphlets that they're going to hand out, Bill?
No. And then the other part that threw me off a little bit was the way that I understood it on the article was like, in order for you to get your driver's license, you're going to have to go through this course, right?
No, they're just going to give you a pamphlet or something.
But it's crazy. I don't know. To think that people don't even know the history of how we got here.
But
Texas.
from what I've seen, and I've seen some in Texas, you already require, like, I think every 7th grader is required to pass a history of Texas class or something like that. And in some cases, the textbook of the history of Texas is bigger than the American history textbook. So I don't know, it's ridiculous.
And then you get, well, Chad can correct me if I'm wrong. I remember somewhere on Twitter said that they learned the Texas the anthem, like whatever song is before the American.
I would have been surprised, man, because they're always saying Texas is #1 and they're different and they're special. They're special. They're special.
That's why Alan be making comments like he misses Felipe.
It's the barbecue.
All right, #2.
Shots fired.
Cori Bush demands FBI data on her protest activity by Akilah Lacey at The Intercept. So at a House Judiciary Committee hearing on oversight of the Federal Bureau of Investigation on Thursday, Representative Cori Bush asked FBI Director Christopher Wray for information the Bureau had collected on her work as an organizer and activist before her time in Congress. So before joining Congress, Bush was an activist in Ferguson and St. Louis, including after the murder of Michael Brown. So many activists, Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whatever, as long as they were protesting racial injustice, they were surveilled by the FBI, including drones and everything. And sometimes they were charged with terrorism felonies and, with an urgency not shown for the actual terrorists that stormed the Capitol on January 6, 2021. So you can add Cori Bush to the list of small and big names hounded by the FBI, like Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, the Black Panthers, everybody, Black Lives Matter, and many more. So, Case, my question is, should she be proud to be in such illustrious company of people that have been surveilled by the FBI?
Yeah, that's the first thing when I saw this article is I thought about the Black Panthers because when I was obsessed with that movie, Judas and the Black Priest, I did a lot of research. And one of the things that one of the Black Panthers said to this day, she was trying to do a FOIA request, Freedom of Information Act request on her, the data that the FBI has on her. And she still couldn't get it. She knows that thousands of data exist, pages of surveillance on her. But to this day, and that was back in the 70s, to this day, she still can't get all the information. So Cori Bush talked about how she's going to come up with a protest legislation in this article. And I think she should add to it. I don't know if it's in it already, or I think she should add a stipulation that as a citizen of the United States, you have your right to the data collected from the FBI. And I can understand if there's an ongoing surveillance, like if there's something serious going on, not to give up that information, but there should be a minimum though of 10 years that at the end of that 10 years of them holding that data, they need to release it to you at your request. And
a maximum of 10 years.
Okay, a maximum. And at the least a 1 year. So let's say they have data on you. Let's say you did a protest and then you don't do another protest for another year. That means you weren't still active doing whatever they're surveilling you for. Within 1 year, you should be able to get that information. So
you think this is socialist Europe?
Right. But I think that's something that I definitely think, because it's just a shame that with all the things that went down with the Black Panthers back in the day, that a Black Panther still can't get information on her surveillance 30 years later. Go ahead.
Now, she says she's working on some legislation, so we'll see what it is. But Alan in the chat says, Palito says terrorists, but Republicans say tourists. And this is a fact, because there was one Republican that was actually like helping barricade the doors and talking he was scared and blah, blah, blah. And after, I guess, when Trump got to him or whatever, he said, like, it looked like tourists were out there. So, I don't even know that you had to barricade doors against tourists. Maybe at Disney, I don't know.
Exactly.
Gave his trigger.
All right. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's I identify as a Disney-holic.
Yeah. All right.
I'm a Sunholic too.
Number 3. Oh, also, Alan said that he was born in Vegas. No slander. He ain't from Texas.
He was the one that said he was from Texas.
Who? I didn't say that.
Alan. When we asked him, he said, "Oh, I'm in Texas." So
yeah. CMT
now he doesn't want to claim it.
CMC says, when will the knucklehead governors of the South acknowledge that America is and has been fundamentally racist from the beginning? Yeah, they don't want to acknowledge that, man. That's the whole CRT argument. You know?
How they going to acknowledge when they're racist themselves?
Yeah, they could just own it and be like, yeah, we proud of it. So what? What you gonna do about it? We ain't doing nothing about it. So, next topic. Federal judge pauses historic funding for black farmers because white farmers think it's racist. By Anoa Changa and News One. So black farmers have been perpetually discriminated against by the United States Department of Agriculture. They even won a class action lawsuit in the 90s that many are still waiting to get paid on. And President Biden passed, as part of the COVID relief bill, he passed a law to give some black and Hispanic farmers some loan forgiveness to make up for, a little bit of that racism. But because white farmers aren't getting any extra money, even though they benefited from the racism, they sued for reverse racism. So, Gabe, if we look at the closet of Judge William Griesbach of Wisconsin's Eastern District, which is the judge that said, he stopped the payments, we'll find a white hood and robe, or is he more of a subtle type of racist? I don't know. Look at his class. What you think?
I think it's just America in a nutshell. I had a professor in college that it was very early on. I think it might have been even the summer before my freshman year in a program, and he said that it's impossible for minorities to be racist. And I didn't understand that at the time. I vehemently disagreed, and I was like, no, but if it's this, but after years of education and growth and becoming more woke and just learning that the racism is it's the system, and we don't have a system to combat against white racism. And this is the perfect example of that. Even in the time where they gave a small little I wouldn't even call it an equalizer, because there was something along the lines of 26 billion of aid given to farmers across America. And of that 26 billion, 0.1% went to black farmers. So in response, I believe this farming bill was 2 billion or 4 billion, no, 4 billion of a benefit. So it's not an equalizer. It's just like a little carrot to the black community to kind of say like, hey, we're sorry you didn't get any of that other money. Here's a little something to make it right. And you can't even get that because the system is so messed up that a judge would side with folks who received all of the funding on the other part. It's America in a nutshell. I always say that. And it's just, when you look at situations like this, the small little program that was made to kind of help black farmers, you can't even have any nice things. No, it's just, nope, we're going to take that from you too. So CMT, it's like spitting on you when you're already down.
Yeah, CMT in the chat said black farmers were screwed by government that wouldn't give them the ability to control their own funding, but allowed white farmers no oversight. And they were given way less under Trump. And that's the 0.1% you were talking about. So when Trump, messed up with the whole tariffs or whatever, he gave farmers basically, welfare to support them while, they couldn't sell their grains overseas and whatever else they were growing. And only 0.1% went to black farmers for that. And now you're trying to give them a little bit to the black farmers. They're like, reverse racism. So it's ridiculous. You can't win for losing.
I mean, there's no different than, saying Black Lives Matter and they want to go all lives matter. There's no difference than, wanting to implement affirmative action and they have problems with that too. I mean, any little thing you try to do for black people or say for black people, they're just going to stand up and go, no, but what about me too?
Well, you had the whole history of the country for you.
Exactly.
Ooh, Alan, can we start calling it white stupidity instead of white systemic racism?
Nah, it's not stupidity, man. This is they know.
It's calculated. It's calculated.
Of course, they know what they're doing. All right, next topic. Why are Democrats so bad at getting a message out, and how to fix it, by Oliver Willis at oliverwillis.com. So we talked about this before. But long story short, this is all about how Republicans have message unity and message saturation across all medias. So even if it's a crude Facebook post, they're sure to get the message out. And it doesn't have to be polished or anything, but they get it out there quickly and in unison. So I like this article because it also gives some suggestions. You know, the author highlights Ted Lieu as someone who is quick to jump on issues and advocates the progressive point of view via tweets. So what do you think of his suggestions, John? Or is it ridiculous to think that Democrats can even do this?
Well, I think there's first ridiculous to think that they could do it because it goes back to leadership, right? Chuck Schumer could have done a worse job as a Senate leader in the past election. Couldn't win Maine. They didn't deliver anything. Screwed up Kentucky by going after Amy. Basically, Georgia was given by the $2,000 stimulus check message and stuff, and he got to keep his job. So if Chuck Schumer was replaced and they would have put somebody in there that could have really lead, I think it could definitely be fixed. But until we continue to have Pelosi and Chuck as the Democratic leader, Mitch McConnell is going to get away with whatever he wants. They're not going to have a one solid message, that everyone could actually follow. So I think it's ridiculous. I don't think until we replace them, we really can get a solid message and really sound in unison. Even with like Manchin, like they would talk about it. I would put all these votes on the floor and let Manchin vote no, and let those Democrats vote no, but they don't even want to do that.
Okay, well, so this is why I'm two minds about this. So because you mentioned Manchin, my answer will be no, because they're not going to go against their own people. So that's not going to happen. But on the flip side, I think they could do it for things that are more centrist or more, nothing that's too progressive. Like, for example, there could have been some kind of unity and message, some kind of, if they could polish a message, everybody threw it out around the vote to do the commission for January 6th. That's something that all the Democrats are for, and even a few Republicans, and they could have a united message against that and point it at the Republicans as, obstructionists that support terrorists. And, so they could do it for certain topics, but nothing that's too progressive.
Yeah, but let's go back to leadership. Like Chuck is just bad. Like, you could not have a worse like election cycles that then they both have. Pelosi lost seats. Chuck couldn't even win Maine. Maine was like the easiest freaking like seat to win. They didn't even could have delivered that. And he got to keep his job. So like, how bad do you have to do? So like, he saw Mitch McConnell got away with everything as when he was the leader, Senate leader. Now Mitch McConnell is getting away with everything as a minority leader. Basically, Mitch McConnell is calling all the shots. So what is like, that's what I'm saying. So until leadership change, until Chuck just get the boots, like, I don't think they're really going to have a solid message.
The reason there's no solid message is because they don't believe anything that they even run on. Because if they really wanted to get it done, they would push it. The Democrats are such a big tent that they have to run on something that is like the bare minimum to try to get the real left over and make them feel like they have to vote. And then as soon as they get in, they won't even give you that bare minimum. They won't even give you the public option. They won't even fight for 15. They won't even do anything. So that's the reason we can't get a coherent message, because what we believe is the platform, or what they say is the platform, is not really the platform. The platform is continue to just try to maintain power. And then if you lose power, who cares? Because then you can just run against the Republicans, because that's easier than actually governing.
I mean, I'm more with John on this one, because I think there are a few messages that every Democrat could agree on. It's true that we're a big tent, so you have to, from the socialists all the way to the Manchins, there's no way you're going to please everybody with every little thing. But they're, like the example of the commission on January 6th, that's something every single Democrat would agree on and they voted for. So you definitely could have some things so you could have party unity on, but the leadership, like John said, has to be there to push it.
Yeah, I think that I see Holly Horn said Schumer is weak. The reason why he's leader is because he put himself in the middle of the progressives like Bernie Sanders, etc., and the moderates. And from what I understand, he, in the interview that he said, he has a meeting with the people on the extreme. So the Bernie, Elizabeth Warren on one side and Joe Manchin and whoever else. And they have a meeting. I don't know if he said it was weekly meetings or I don't think it would be daily meetings, but he has meetings with them often, and that kind of appeases both sides, and that's the reason why he's leader, I think, because he's able to play that game.
But like, if any of us were given a project and said, here's what you have to do, you have to deliver at least one of these 7 points or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And we would have been fired. Like, there's not, like, Chuck didn't deliver anything. Like, he didn't deliver one single thing. Like, he can't claim Georgia. Georgia was the $2,000. Like, they ran on that and stuff. Like, he screwed up Kentucky, like I said. Like, Maine. Like, Susan Collins. Like, how did Susan Collins wins? Like, Maine, they like Democrats, right? Didn't they have a Democrat governor or something like that? And that was like the easiest Senate seat to win. They didn't deliver that. South Carolina was a long shot, but like they came in late or something, and he didn't deliver anything. So now the problem is that he said, well, it's 50-50. We don't got Joe Manchin. If he would have tried to deliver some, like if we would have gotten Maine, if we wouldn't have screwed up Kentucky, we maybe would have had a shot with Charles Booker. We would have had 52-53, right? So they wouldn't need Joe Manchin. But everything, like Gabe said, everything's calculated. Like, they shouldn't have kept their leadership position based on the results that 2020 had. But they were happy because Trump is not there. And that was all their message, well, we got rid of Trump. So now they don't have anything to run on. And then 2022, 2024, we can't allow another Trump. The Republicans don't allow us to do anything. And if we know that if the roles were reversed, Mitch McConnell would have threw whoever he needed to throw under the bus. And they would always have that solid message that Democrats don't.
And I hate to be a negative Nancy, but more Democratic seats in the Senate is not going to solve the issue. We could get 60, because remember, if you need 60 to pass without Republican votes, and Joe Manchin will still block us, and it's going to be impossible for us to ever get even 60. So whether we get one, whether we get two, whether we get three more, we get a 54 to there's going to be a point where we're never going to have enough seats to get rid of Joe Manchin or to cancel out Joe Manchin's vote. And it's not just him. Right now, he is the ringleader, but there's Kirsten Sinema, and there's at least 3 or 4 more that when push comes to shove will vote on the Manchin side to block progress. Yeah. So the only counter to that is, and the only I'm speaking. Carlito,
he got the background. I'm sorry.
So the only way that we can counter that is we need a progressive movement that's willing to shut down the government and literally not let anything go through the same way Joe Manchin does. It would be like, listen, unless we're gonna get good stuff through, you're not gonna get anything through. And we have enough votes on our side as well, but we don't use that power. Yeah. And that's the only way, because we could get 60, 65 seats and we still won't pass $15 minimum wage. We still won't pass good tax increases for corporations. We still won't pass any of that unless our progressive leaders are willing to block together the way that the center-right Democrats do.
Yeah, I believe 8 Democratic senators voted down the $15 minimum wage, so that's a lot.
Yeah, so CMT says you need a majority done the filibuster, not 60. So if you do it at the beginning of the term, you could dump the filibuster with just 50.
Yeah. All right. So just to switch it up real quick, I'm going to go to this quick question, trivia. This is the only and last one. True or false? New York City mayoral frontrunner Eric Adams, he said this: with new technology, you should have 1 teacher per student. Is that correct? With new technology, you should have that teachers our classes, public schools should have 1 teacher per student. Is that false?
False. He said he wanted 100 students or something like that.
All right. Yeah. So
I was going to say false because that made no sense.
I tried to switch it up. But it didn't work out. With new technology, you don't need school children to be in a school building with a number of teachers. It's just the opposite. You could have 1 teacher teach 300 or 400 students.
I wonder if he's the one that's gonna grade those 300.
So
tests.
here's the thing.
Those
Here's the thing. I agree.
words.
Here's the thing is I kind of agree with that. I think that in a way, again, if you look at it in a bubble, it looks like a terrible quote, but we have so many crappy teachers, and I think it's a fact of that we underpay teachers. So most of the only people that become teachers are either the ones that truly love it and they're willing to take that small payment. But I think more than that, it's really the C and D students that go and become teachers because it's the only job that they can get that's secure, that they don't have to worry. So I think that, and I'm stealing this idea from a guy that was on the Yang podcast as a guest.
You would.
But I think you need to treat teachers like sports players, where you have a draft and the best teachers can make millions of dollars, and they could come out and you could have them teaching the whole country. But then on the local level, you still have, they're not going to grade all the papers. So you have one person doing the lesson for everybody and making it, or a couple people doing the lesson. And then you have your local teachers that'll do the administrative work.
So you want, so Gabe, you want the teaching to look like the government, right? Like all the white people on the top, all the brown and black people at the bottom doing the hard work.
I think it's a way to.
That's how it's going to look like.
But you're also missing the need of paraprofessionals. Not all these kids learn at the right rate. And the other aspect too that people sometimes miss is, well, not the same thing, but a lot of kids don't know how to study online. It's even worse with the different distractions.
But let's take a step back. Let's take a step back real quick. Let's take a step back. I'm reclaiming my time. Really quick. Let's take a step back. Like, let's talk about how many locations in the United States don't even have access to broadband internet. Like, how many kids don't have access to computers? So forget about even doing the draft of getting the best of best teacher. Like, first, let's even fix that. Like, there's so many people that can't afford internet or don't even have internet or a computer. So what's that going to do? That's just going to create even a bigger gap than we have right now, right? Whereas everybody that has access to those, they're going to get the best teacher because they have access to internet and computer, and the people that don't, they're just going to get shafted.
All right, cool. Carlito, and then I'm going to go to Gabe to answer that, what John said about, the broadband question. Go ahead, Carlito.
So on the whole, the sports analogy, the one guy makes the curriculum, we kind of have that already. You have people that make the, there's some local level, of course, but you could make it for national. There's some national standards, but you basically have the same thing. You just have people that make up the curriculums, and then the teachers teach it on, at the local level. So we already kind of have that already. So you don't need to have your sports analogy. And I also kind of not take offense, but take offense on behalf of teachers saying that more of them are, the low grade students that, because
I'll die on that hill. Cops and teachers are the C and D students.
Nah, see, but teachers need a whole.
You got that from the
hot take.
Teachers need a whole lot more education than a cop. Teachers, and they get underpaid for having to get like masters just to teach, snotty nosed kids. A lot of them are just way overeducated to be doing what they're doing, honestly. So yeah, you could down that on that hill. Except the exception that I want to give you is when you start doing, the whole school choice crap, which is, then you have these schools that hire whoever they want to teach, and they don't even have anywhere near the education or training as public school teachers.
All right, Gabe, you get the last word and we move on. I didn't know we was in no cancel zone. We should have declared no cancel zone so Gabe didn't get canceled, but it's too late. Go ahead, Gabe.
I agree on municipal broadband. We need municipal broadband, like John was saying, because that's the great equalizer. Until we get broadband everywhere, as somebody who spent 2.5 months traveling across the country, I could see where there were food deserts, and I could see where there were broadband deserts and cell signal deserts and things like that. So we need municipal broadband if a plan like that were ever to work. And I agree that if we didn't have municipal broadband and we just focused on the still leaving the private companies to deliver the broadband infrastructure, this proposal that I had, my wild proposal, would never work because you need to have it equal for everyone.
Yeah, I just thought of something though. Should we have like a public option for devices? Because we can give people free Wi-Fi, but what if they don't have a device to get access to that? What you
I
guys
mean, in my kids' school, they give them when they're like in pre-K, with the whole COVID thing, they give them iPads, and then when they're like first grade and up, I think up to kindergarten might be iPad, but then first grade and up, they give them a laptop.
Interesting.
So so they have it. I mean, it depends. I'm sure not every city maybe has the funds for it, but
the laptop's not going to help you if you don't have internet to use the laptop with.
There's also programs for internet. There was 2 programs that that I found out about that I actually told the school about, and one of them was private company, T-Mobile was giving like free hotspots to people, but then on a government level, they also had a program to subsidize internet. You're not gonna get gigabit or whatever, but to subsidize internet to the people in my county.
But you live in civilization. We're talking about the people that don't live in civilization.
Oh, we also, I mean, again,
Starlink.
There's a lot of those programs, like all these programs. They're like, we have all these government programs and stuff. But how many people, there's people that don't speak English. There's people that don't understand any of those programs, and they never apply for it. They don't even understand that it's available to them. So, I know in our county, I think they gave everybody Chromebooks or something like that. But again, there's still a lot of parents out there that they work in 2 or 3 jobs, and they don't even know how to go through that process, or what is the process to even get that subsidized internet or whatever it is that the government's giving. So there's a lot of things that we got to fix before we get to this progressive Republican plan of $1 million teacher sport athletes. It's wild.
Canceled.
Oh, okay. All right, Carlito, we're going to hand the mic back over to Carlito's rapid rundown. Carlito's rundown. Yeah.
So it's the last story, kind of wanted to end it on a kind of positive note. Yeah. So this is article is titled 3 Black trans women are turning what was once called a gay ghetto into America's first flourishing transgender district by Kenny Williams Jr. at Blabberly.com. So there was an older article from last year, but it's a story that I found intriguing, so I decided to read a little bit more about it. So basically, 3 black women created a transgender district in the Tenderloin area in San Francisco. It is the first legally recognized transgender district in the world. So from the website, if you got the website, is the transgender district was founded in response to gentrification and displacement in San Francisco, and an urgent need to provide legal protections for a neighborhood in San Francisco Tenderloin. Executive director and co-founder Aria Saeed told Blabberly. So, their effort was to make Tenderloin a bustling economic oasis. The co-founders took it upon themselves to shield residents from 2 plights, homelessness and gentrification. Truly a tale of 2 cities. The Tenderloin neighborhood, once riddled with homelessness and human waste, is just a 15-minute walk away from the big name offices that made the glossy Silicon Valley. So do you think this is something that can be replicated in other cities, Izzy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is just a blueprint for everybody else to take note of. I absolutely love this. There is nothing I love more. As a person who was born and raised in New York, has seen the gentrification that Brooklyn has gone through, has seen what they're trying to do here in the Bronx. There is nothing I love more than people who are from that community trying to build up that community. And the way these women are doing this, of course, is Black women doing this, trans or otherwise, it doesn't matter. These are Black women bringing up their community as Black women tend to do. And it's just, it's such an empowering story that I wish these women nothing but all the luck. I want to see them. I mean, they could easily turn this, with all the news coverage that they're getting, they could turn this district into a bustling, tourist community that brings in tons of money that was built for them, by them. And it's just so uplifting to see. I wish them tons of success. And, I really do hope that other people around this country take note. I've seen even here in the Bronx, my community isn't really the greatest. They're absolutely trying to gentrify this. And every little bit of opportunity that I see where, a local person of color opens up a brand new business that has never been open before. I think of No Carne Bodega is right in my neighborhood. It's run by this guy, Alex. He just opened up recently. It's a completely vegan bodega in the middle of the Bronx. And I want to buy everything from that guy just to support him. Same thing with Let There Be Cake, Let There Always Be Cake in the Bronx as well, run by this woman Laurie, you know, a Dominican lady who's running a Dominican bakery that's killing it, you know. So like these are the types of stories that I love to see, and you know, I just want these types of stories to empower more and more people to think the same way and really try to build up their community from within.
Yeah, so their website is transgenderdistrictsf.com to see some of the programs they worked on. They have tenant protection and housing programs, economics and workforce development, cultural conservation, and they even had an entrepreneurship accelerator. So it said that Transgender District piloted the entrepreneurship accelerator program for queer and transgender people of color who aspire to start a business project in 2021. Now, some programs were obviously put on hold because of COVID, but I still found the story amazing.
Absolutely. That's a success.
Let's go.
All right.
So that's
Is that it? That's
And,
everything?
Yeah. And then
Nice.
on a positive notes, man.
What's up?
There's,
We said
there's no Biden slander in this story, so everybody's speechless.
Yeah. All right.
These are the ones. These are the ones everyone agrees with.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's the one like Easy made a great point. You can't add anything else to that. Like, you know, everything Easy said was on point.
I finally picked a positive article, so I had to jump on it, you know.
Nice. Good stuff. Let's go to the chat. Anything in the chat? We are already starting to meet up and plan here and SW.
No Felipe slander in the chat.
The chat is good. Alan is just having a moment. He's missing Felipe.
All right, so I want to show you all.
CMT is already planning for 2022. They're meeting up in Southwest Florida.
Yo, Chris. By the way, Chris. I saw that our person Alan Grayson is running for the Senate again. What you think about that, Carlito? You think he'll win?
You look at me smiling. Look at me smiling. I love me some Alan Grayson, man.
Yeah. But Chris was hoping that he would run for the House again and not the Senate because he lost last time. So I don't know. We'll see if he wins. See how
when you have the Republicans and the corporate
Democrats. Exactly. All right. Speaking of corporate Democrats, and we talked about identity politics earlier. So everyone knows
CMT stands Alan Ellison, but I know Adam Grayson is running for something because I got emails. Well, Alan Ellison is what you're saying.
Oh, who? Alan Ellison? I thought it was Alan Grayson. Okay.
Maybe he's running for something else.
Okay. I will stand corrected then. My fault for the wrong information. But let's talk about this clip that found a clip. I usually have clips that go viral, but because Twitter has been throttling my account and just putting the disclaimers on it, I've noticed recently that followers counts has been going down, but finally a clip broke through and now it's up to 58,000 views. And I'm just going to play a little bit of it so you guys get the gist of what it's about, all right?
Do not come. Do not come.
Republicans pounced on the comments, of course, but they also didn't go over too well on the left, including with Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who called the comments disappointing. So here's what I want to know. Given that immigration is one of the most complex issues we face as a country, a situation where there is no quick fix, is there anything Harris could have said that would not have drawn criticism? As a woman, a person of color, and the daughter of immigrants herself, the first ever vice president, who isn't a white man, by the way, always remember that, is Harris being held to a different standard? Joining me now to discuss is Anousheh Hossein. She's a journalist and the host of the.
You guys want me to keep playing, or are you want to?
Oh, that garbage take.
That's awful.
What a garbage take.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not wrong, right?
No, it is wrong.
Regardless of what she would have said, they would have attacked her. Regardless of what she said.
Yeah, but you shouldn't give a damn about what the Republicans have to say about you. That's the wrong part. Yeah, that she would have been attacked by the Republicans.
Well, but that's where I'm going at. She's not wrong. She would have been attacked regardless of what she said.
Yeah, but that's her being like, oh, you should pander to the center and you should try to figure something out to say that where Republicans won't attack you. Who cares?
But is it also context though? Isn't it like don't risk your life to come here? Like really?
But that's not what she said.
I know, but I'm just saying. Is it context that's missing?
She said that too. She said that too.
Yeah, but right after she was like, "You will be turned away." Like she said that. So don't come, and if you do come, we're gonna turn you away. She said that right afterwards.
Well, and again, I don't know this, right? So this is where you guys can teach me. But asylum isn't 100% guarantee. Like, hey, I joined asylum, so it's not like, oh, you just come ask for asylum, you're in.
But there's a process, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying there's not, right? But it's one of those things where she's saying is you can come, you can ask for asylum.
Not saying you can come. She's not
saying
saying
shut up and not say anything.
She's saying the exact opposite.
No, but
she said you can't, but don't. You can, but don't.
So one of the things that was mentioned in the comments, and we didn't play this like 3 of these clips. This is a 3-video thread. But later on, she compares Kamala to Jared Kushner didn't get any criticism, and a lot of people in the comments was flaming that point because of course he got a ton of criticism when he went overseas and he was trying to create peace with Israel, for example. He did not succeed.
Maybe not for Republicans. That's all we care about for Republicans' sake. And to be honest, that's all the media cares about because they make the agenda. Going back to a story about message unity, they go out, they say the same thing, repeat again and again, go on Fox News, and then all the other networks are forced to respond to what Fox News says instead of like just looking at the topic itself and doing some actual journalism. So you gotta sometimes care about what Republicans say, not because you want to appease them in any way, but because you want to know how to play the game. You want to know how to flood the media with your own narrative and your own message. And, that's the message that Democrats need to learn.
Here, Ollie Horn says she could say no human being is illegal. Who's that going to piss off?
The Republicans.
Could have said, yeah, well, that's, again, that's their problem.
Law and order.
Valid statement. And she could have said something like that if she really just wanted to pander. She didn't even do that.
I'll be honest, I didn't listen to the whole hot take. I just saw some of the Twitter comments and IG post about it.
Okay.
Alan's agreeing with you, so you're good.
Yeah. Alan said, unless you're a child, you will be turned away. It's a good policy. I don't know about all that, man.
How are you going to say that, Alan? If it's a woman that's being abused or her life is at risk, do you know, like, all the stuff going on in South and Central America right now?
It's like AOC said, you can't set somebody's house on fire and then say,
exactly,
sorry, we can't help you.
Speaking on that note, here's
it goes back to it. We're not just, and again, unless I'm wrong, a woman can come up and say that, and we can say, okay, we'll write your name down.
It's never that. The US,
go find a place in Mexico to
US
as we
their nose on all these countries.
Yeah,
sorry. Here's the point right here. U.S. military intervention since World War II. And it just shows all the different countries that U.S., of course, our CIA, it says attempted regime change, bomb attacks, and sabotage. And, honestly, I think these countries should be demanding reparations. Unfortunately, they're very small. They don't have a lot of power. But we have caused a whole bunch of mess in especially Latin America.
Absolutely.
So I got a couple comments on this, just going back to Madam Vice President. One, I look at this as in baseball terms, unforced error, or like we've been talking about this week, out on the basis. That's what I look at. All she had to do was just say something like Holly said earlier of just you are, people are people and whatever. Or she could have quoted the Statue of Liberty. Give me you're tired, you're poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free, but no, she goes for that. The other thing I can't stand is the identity politics when it comes to legit criticism. So of course, racism is in everything. If you look at the history of most things, there's a racist history. But when you use it in this case to say, well, it's because she's the first female and the first Black vice president. No, it's because she did something that a lot of people don't agree with. And we want to criticize her for it. And when she does something good, we're going to give her praise. As much as we criticize Joe Biden when he's the stop clock and he's right twice a day, and when the administration's right twice a day, we'll give them credit. But I just hate when we weaponize the identity politics. I feel like it takes away from the real struggle of the culture. So that was
what's the last thing you gave Biden praise for, Gabe?
I said that he's gonna get out of get out of Iraq or Afghanistan.
Yeah, but then you said, well, Trump was already starting, so you
He
gave
did. Both things are true. Both things are 100% true.
Well, let's see. I think by September 11th, if he could get us completely out of Afghanistan, I would give him credit. Definitely. I agree with Gabe on that one. If he could get us out of Afghanistan by 9/11, that would be, I'll give him credit.
The thing is, Trump was never getting all out. He just took a few people out and then that's it. He stopped. Yeah. He was never getting everybody out. So that's not true.
That's not true. Yes, it is false. He had they had look it up. He had something that said, again, he could have been convinced. The difference is that he didn't have an unconditional. You fucking making me with defend Trump. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I just gotta demonetize. Like, why are you making me defend Trump? He had,
you got to him.
He had a freaking there was a plan to get out, but it wasn't unconditional. Where it changed with Joe Biden was Joe Biden made it unconditional, which I agree with.
He had a plan to get out. He probably meant it at the time and maybe got convinced by generals the same way they try to convince Biden. But the thing is, he got convinced and he decided not to take everybody out, period. It wasn't
it seemed like there was still, from what I saw, that there was still a timeline.
Trust me.
No, from what I understand, there was it showed that, and I think Kyle Kalinske covered this in a video, that there was an article that talked about how Trump in his last days, I think it was after he lost, he put out, to the generals to get the troops out, and they straight up ignored him. So that's like almost like a mini coup d'etat right there, that the generals just straight up ignored the president.
Yeah, it wasn't quite like that. It was more like they talked them out of it. They talked him out of it pretty much. Like there's a lot of stuff he wanted to do, like the 2,000 he wanted to do, or he said that he wanted to do, but in the end he never did, because all he cared about is whatever's good for himself.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, it's 9:01. We got to get Carlito to his game. Let me say
the progressive Republican.
Yeah.
He showed his card. He showed his card.
Trump.
Yeah. Let me say a statement from Chris real quick. Chris said, even when countries sue and win in the courts, like Stephen Doninger, and props to Stephen, who's out there. I saw him on many podcasts and just getting his word out there. Stephen represented against Exxon. Oh man, the chat. Does anybody have that? Because it just went down in my screen and I lost it.
Yeah, represented against Exxon, and the USA wouldn't hear it. They told him to sue in the country he represented. He won.
$1 billion.
That number is.
It was like
$1 billion 800.
No, 18 billion.
I need commas.
But I know they took it out.
New York education.
It was that C+ teacher.
Yeah. Welcome to PJ Overtime, and we're gonna try to get us out of here because Carlito got to go watch the Hawks game, and I'm being very sensitive to Carlito. So
no, you're not. You're having overtime.
Yeah. Carlito, you want me to tell you what the score is?
Nah, man, don't tell me.
By 9:10, we're going to be out. But listen, I'm going to do a quick rapid. This is Case's rapid fire of tweets, right? So here is the first one. I already talked about this one. This is one that is dedicated to my man Izzy, and it talks about it's photos of all the plastic waste in the Philippines. It's crazy.
That's where all of our waste goes, into Asia. All of our plastic stuff that we think is getting recycled just goes right to Asia and never sees the light of day.
That's nuts. All right, so this is just a quick rapid fire, so I'm gonna keep it moving.
Have you seen the bricks that they make out of plastic, and what do you think about those? Like the ones that are like Legos? There's some Legos that they
nice.
I'll find the link. We could do rapid fire next week.
Why you filibustering, yo? You making it longer on purpose.
Yeah.
Playing no more. Just because the Lakers are out.
Carlitos, it's in halftime right now. Carlitos, halftime. You got time.
Here's another tweet with Warren Buffett showing, and this is old news, but it was a lot big time earlier in the week. But Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Michael Bloomberg, Elon Musk, and how little they pay in taxes, and the average American pays at least 14% in taxes. That's what the tweet said, but I lost it. Okay, we're gonna keep it moving.
Gay, what you buying in Prime Day?
I haven't looked yet, but I gotta see.
Have you guys saw this video clip that did the rounds? It went viral, over 2.3 million.
I don't watch The Hill anymore.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was amazing.
Never like
amazing.
like
Should I play
nothing
real
better
quick?
than learning history in live television, something like that.
Yeah. I'm not gonna play.
Play real quick. Play.
Play
Okay.
Play.
If
Yeah, you
Carlito
should
said
play
to
it.
play, I'm gonna play it just because it's
Play.
Or just
Carlito.
you throw a dart anywhere at the global map, and you can probably find, at some point throughout the 20th century, the U.S. intervening to undermine, some type of social democratic effort and backing the most vicious right-wing elements. And the irony of them calling this anti-Semitism when the U.S. very consciously and explicitly out of World War II allied itself with former Nazis, helped Nazis escape justice, was complicit in what was called the rat line, with getting Nazis out of Germany and into these death squads that were run by the United States and deployed in an anti-communist fashion against the Soviet Union and against leftist elements in South America.
But who ended the Holocaust? I mean, what country?
The Soviet Union, actually.
Okay, but
I mean, the Soviet Union did that.
no. I mean,
We
the Soviet
walked
Union,
in after the Russians had suffered 20+ million casualties and marched into Germany.
Sure, but without the United States' intervention, a heck of a lot more people would have died in that atrocity.
Yes, and I'm glad the Soviet Union and the United States allied to beat Nazi Germany, but the Nazi Germany, the Nazis themselves then allied with the United States to go after the Soviet Union and to go after communist and social democratic elements in South America. That's an actual part of the history.
Right, but again, there's lives being saved in that process, a lot of lives being saved in that process, and a lot of Americans putting their lives on the line and dying to save those lives.
Sure, but many fewer than Soviet lives died to take on the Nazis.
Crystal light instead of crystal ball.
Shout out to Social Demo Bus who just joined the chat. But go ahead, Carlito.
Yeah, it was so funny because at first when he was talking, it kind of looked like she was like seething and stuff. She was like a sky or something. Yeah. So it was like, oh man, she wants to say something so bad, but what can you say?
Nothing right, apparently.
Yeah. So I was going to show this video of another cops being bad, but I'm gonna keep it moving because it's rapid fire. But it's crazy video.
But, another one thing,
Go ahead,
when they brought, some Nazi prisoners to the U.S., they actually gave them, like when they were like driving them to a camp or driving them somewhere else. Yeah. They gave them preferred seating over like the black soldiers that actually fought in the wars.
That's crazy.
So the white Nazis were treated better than the black soldiers that defeated the Nazis.
Wow. That's nuts. And here's the last rapid fire. Chipotle CEO's pay increased by 137% to $38 million. And while they did not increase, actually, I heard they did increase Chipotle wages, but a little bit. Not a lot.
They increase wages, but they increase prices, and then they go and tell people the reason why our prices increase is because our labor force is getting paid more, which is BS. The reason why they increase the prices is so they could pay the executive. So it goes back to that. So anytime that that's what's going to see. We're going to see that everywhere. And that's what these companies are going to use against the $15 minimum wage. They're going to say, our workforce, it's going to cost us more. So you're going to see all these prices. And no, it's not going to really cost you more if the CEO is not being so greedy and just 130% increase on their salary.
Yep. Exactly. So that brings me straight to what we missed at this No Cow Zone. We're not going to talk about it this week. We're going to talk about it next week. How low will you go? We already established billionaires shouldn't exist, but what is the limit of wealth one person should have? That's going to be an interesting discussion. We're going to really have to take out our No Cow Zone cards to see what people think about this one. And then the last one is, should progressive play identity politics when picking a candidate to run? And again, that's, for example, Shahid Buttar in California, how he ran against Nancy Pelosi. Should we find a progressive white lady instead of Shahid Buttar in that particular district? That's what we're going to talk about next week. So let's give some love to the chat. Carlos, Allen, my man Allen, aka Neat, Social Dem or Bust. Holly Horn was in the chat. Who else we got in the chat?
CMT.
Chris, CMT, aka Chris, is in the chat. Much love to you. Is me in the
Social
chat?
Dem or Bust is actually support policies of politicians. He changed his name.
Oh, nice. Okay. And then there's somebody from Twitch, TILGIN, Tilgin.
TTAG_YT something.
If you're still there, Tilgin, much love to
Trumpet
you.
things in gaming.
All right. So I appreciate you staying the whole show. If you did, you are an official political junkie right along with us. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. Much appreciated to my guy Carlito, who we appreciate came through, even though his Hawks is playing right now. Don't let them know if they're losing or not. Don't put it in the chat. Gabe, Izzy, Bidone, John. We are the political junkies, and along with you, much love. We got some interesting stuff to discuss next week. Who's going to get canceled?
Hey, Alan, send Felipe a message. Tell him you want him back.
Gabe.
Shout out to Crystal Ball and Sagar for having the #1 political podcast in the country, the world.
Yeah, much love. Anybody else? Yo, Bendon, why you gave that face when Izzy was talking about the vegan Dominican spot?
Have you seen how I look?
Yeah. Your face, you got the screwed up face.
You see how I look?
All right, guys.
Hey, Alan Grayson is running for Senate against Marco Rubio, by the way.
Yeah, I thought so. All right, here's the outro. That's the outro. All right, Pedro Hernandez and Nancy Venture. I haven't seen Nancy in a while, but if you're there, Nancy, much love to you. Ali Horn, everybody. Adios.
DMP with the super chat.
Thank you. Chris, thank you so much for the super chat.